Guys, always choose the Handshake YouTube channel over any news.
Yeah. The big problem with the presidential debate was that there was no AI art involved at all. It's like generated these Bugs Bunny with a VR headset. Wow, that's really wild.
A lot of her screaming.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That one makes sense. This one I don't know what's
happening. It's 2024 and we're still not getting the faces right? Like, what is this? 2023?
This is awesome. Explosion count 9001.
Download that.
Look at it in all its glory. Really unrealistic for the 90s. They didn't know what gradients were back then.
This one is
Look at
great.
That yellow. That yellow really makes it pop. I can barely read it.
And the cursive?
Yeah. No, that's cursive. You thought you'd seen cursive before.
We're the champions of imagination. There's nothing we can't do, making masterpieces together.
Hey,
we're back again. Here we are in this little YouTube show that we're calling Generating High-Weirdness, and that's what we're calling it, and I don't want to hear another word from you. Yes.
The show Generating High-Weirdness, where we are lost in latent spaces.
Yeah, such a weird, like, hard to say thing that even you couldn't say it just then. Lost in the whole latent space. So it's good job the actual title is...
I was watching the US debate too much and now I'm emulating some of the candidates. What was weird was that they insisted on having real candidates when both parties could have generated much more convincing deepfake versions of them.
And much more likable, suave.
Yeah, totally. But they just had those like meat suits out there yapping at each other. That was a big mistake, I thought.
Wasting time, taking up oxygen. Cool. So today, Jeremy, we're going to make... Here's what I want to make. And this has like several... This may have several layers to it. And I think this time I should actually even help with some of the...
Oh, you actually are thinking of helping with something, Georgia. That's a really creative idea.
See, these babies, they can type too. Don't you worry. Do you know the Space Jam website?
I don't know the website. I know the movie, obviously.
So
it's one of the best movies. I mean, obviously, there's a website of one of the most high quality movies ever created.
Exactly. Space Jam was obviously a really, really good 90-minute advert for Michael Jordan's career. And for Looney Tunes and every other partnership they could think of. But the website that came out of it was like back when people were making websites when they didn't really know what websites were. You know, it was like a very late 90s website. It's just kind of like, what's this for then? And it's like, here's some random still images from the movie. Here's some cool links, you know, like a very early internet website.
I love this this HTML. Like, I love that, like, around this time, the way to really zhuzh up your website was to add fancy HTML.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone was using the colors. Not everyone was using background images. So you could really set yourself apart with these kinds of very advanced graphics technologies.
Anyway, so this is just like a intro point. Number 2, do you know the movie Clueless?
No.
Yeah?
I'm clueless about Clueless.
That's really funny. Well done. Really original. Yeah. So Clueless, an absolute classic about... It's set in LA, right? Is it? You have seen it, right?
No, I haven't seen it.
What? I'm going to have to talk to you.
Georgia, I only consume AI-generated content.
My proposal, Jeremy, is we make a website for Clueless. Mm-hmm. Space Jam was the inspiration website. Like, this is how websites used to look back then.
Yeah.
I want to make a website for a Clueless sequel. So
nice.
we have something newer to work with rather than just being like, oh yeah, like just make something that looks like Clueless.
In the style of the Space Jam website.
Yeah, but not exactly in the style that it's like old internet, crappy HTML, or great use of HTML. So Clueless. All right. So the Clueless sequel. The Clueless sequel was directed by Michael Bay. Here's the brief. Make me a website that advertises Clueless 2. shares revenge. That's what it's called.
Mhm.
Clueless 2, shares revenge. And it's all like muscles, guns blazing, but it's still like, a hot teen culture movie. So those two
Okay.
concepts are merged together into one brilliant website from 1998. And we're going
Okay.
to code it up, and it's going to be ready by the end of this session.
Okay, so the thing that I'm thinking of
Okay.
here is that I want to visit first is Websim. Websim
right.
is a kind of generative AI experience. It's really weird. So you come in here, and instead of prompting it with words, you prompt it with a fake URL for a website that doesn't exist, and then it generates the website that doesn't exist. So I'm going to come here and do https :/ because you should always use secure connections when you can,
HTTPS.
even when in a fake setting.
Still, keep it secure, guys. He cares about privacy.
Totally. HTTPS clueless movie dot
Biz.
net
Net, yeah, net. Yeah.
dot net / sequel
Oh wait.
1996
Oh.
version
Oh wow, you're already going into
.html.
why that and not clueless 2 movie.net or something.
I can't really explain why, Georgia. It's very
You're right.
complicated, but
It's impossible to quantify your genius.
yeah, I couldn't explain why this is the perfect prompt, but okay, great. So this is this is what we're getting. So this is a fake website that hasn't existed until now.
Okay, I almost feel actually like this was the dumbest idea, because you kind of just like, well, I can just do it straight away now, like generate entire website, beep, go.
Well, so what's crazy about Websim is that not only does this create a website, it's all these links are clickable. So I can click on Cher's college survival guide, and then it creates the subsequent link. So it continues like creating more and more parts of this website as you go.
Guys,
check out Clueless.
Balance is key. Balance is key.
Let's do slash. Let's do question mark.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's do slash. Game. Let's see if it'll create a game.
Cher, it's late for class. What's your excuse? A. I was doing my hair. B. You haven't seen the movie, so you can't riff with this. Is so boring. It's like talking to a prompt engineer who only cares about prompt engineering and nothing else.
Wow, it's thinking really hard about this one.
It's making a game, Jeremy. It's making a whole ass game. Cher's coding adventure.
Coding adventure.
Oh,
this is
good inspiration. Good inspiration.
This is good inspiration. What I like about this is the cursive font.
Cursive font makes sense.
I think that's really critical.
The rounded edges, the what do you call that again? Border radius. That wouldn't be a thing. That animation would be a thing. Is that on purpose? It's going digga 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 digga.
What do you mean? Is it on purpose? All the AI generated HTML and CSS are reminders that you don't have to make your websites legible and easy to read. I like Websim as inspo.
Inspo.
That's short for inspiration.
Just in case you don't know, kids, inspo is short for inspiration.
But it's not very controllable. I can only, one might say, get lost in the vector space of the model. And I can explore, and it's very creative. But we have specific things that we want. We want GIFs. We want static renderings. We want illegible backgrounds, and we're not getting that. So
Yeah, exactly.
instead of trying to like cram that into a URL, let's go somewhere. Claude by Anthropic just came out with a great tool that would help with this kind of thing.
Yes, show
Called
me. Yes.
Artifacts.
Okay,
It's
you were
called
telling
Artifacts.
me about this
Artifacts, okay.
before. You said something that I think explained it really well and made it really exciting. I just want to remember / look. Try something like pasting in one of your blogs and saying, turn this into a 3D shooter referencing ideas from the blog.
We are professionals that work on applications with deep business value.
Duh. Look, it says it right there, guys. It says it right there. Professional plan. He's on the professional plan. He's a professional, okay?
Right. Make me a website.
Wait. Well, how is this using the artifacts thing?
I'm making, you'll see,
Oh,
a website. I'm making a website for a parody.
Nice. I'm just going to get some more water while you're typing.
Okay.
I can still hear you.
To the movie Clueless.
No, Cher, not Claire.
Cher?
Yeah, as in like the pop star.
So this isn't going to use the artifacts yet.
Okay.
I want to start with
straightforward Claude input prompt thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you always want to kind of break, no matter how strong the LLM is, with the better LLMs, you're going to be able to put a bunch of different instructions and commands into one prompt, and it can often handle them at the same time. Almost always that's going to get you worse outputs than breaking it down into a series of steps. Yeah. Cher Horowitz, now in her 30s, but still fabulous. Do you know me, Claude? Okay. Yeah. Is this about me? Armed with nothing but her quick wit, impeccable fashion sense, and an inexplicable arsenal of high-tech gadgets.
Why? Okay.
Why? Embarks on a high-stakes rescue mission across Los Angeles.
Across the whole of Los Angeles.
Across all, it's a large archipelagic city.
Okay. Oh, okay. Got used to the word archipelagic.
Write some of the witty one-liners.
It's going to be so bad at this.
After taking down a henchman, as if I'd let you wrinkle my alea. After taking down a henchman, as if I'd let you wrinkle my alea.
What is that? What?
Alea.
Alea.
Oh wow.
Oh
Georgia,
my god.
As if,
dude.
Yeah, you forgot about Alea, the high-class boutique from the Tunisian couturier and shoe designer that we frequent.
You remember like 90 seconds ago when I was like, I bet it's gonna suck at this. One thing in Clueless is like the insanely like obscure references to nearly everything, but also like fashion brands. There's like there has been articles written about this. It's just like, what is she talking about when she says this guy's name? And it's like some fashion brand that no one has ever heard of outside of LA. Yeah. And it's like, that's exactly what that is. That's amazing. Like,
yeah, diffusing tension is like totally my thing.
Like totally.
Okay, we have our one-liners, so now we want this to be a website, and we want it to be in the style of Looney Tunes.
Space Jam.
Space Jam. I don't want to take any risks here, so I'm going to take some screenshots here.
Oh, smart.
I wonder how many of these can we attach more than one?
Oh.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is the artifact. So it creates the code and then it renders it in real time. So we can really quickly iterate here. Georgia, you claimed that you wanted to help. And so what I would like you to do is, while I'm working on this a bit, can you go find some images or GIFs that you want to include in the website so that I can provide the URLs to the robot?
Find? Don't you mean generate?
Oh, you want to generate the images?
I think we should generate everything. The whole point.
You're really onto something here.
Of these is that we just make everything with by telling a machine to do it for us.
Wow.
What are you going to be doing while I'm doing that?
I'm going to continue to generate more pages of this website.
Sick.
And link them together. I have created some interesting upsides and downsides of the artifacts feature. You can quickly iterate because you can see things rendered immediately and in the browser. The downside is that the artifacts feature is itself a language model prompt that gets fed in on the back end to Claude in addition to whatever you're saying in the chat. It's like a 4,000 token prompt, like a 3,000 word prompt that they then tack on to everything that I'm saying here, that then instructs the model how to create the code in such a way that it is displayed properly here. So as a result, you run out of space in your context window really quickly. And the farther you go into your context window on language models, the dumber the thing gets, essentially. It starts to forget things that you've said earlier, and it gets worse at operating across it. So you can see that it starts with this pretty good website.
Yeah.
And then I ask it to add some images. It's too many images, so I use the first one. And then the second one is a little more... But it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then I ask it to add images. But then as I'm asking it to continue, it gets lazy. It gets lazier. It gets dumber. So then by the end, what I have is actually not much better. And then
these are barely danger zone. It's gone through this. You've got your context window is growing and growing, and its abilities are getting murkier and murkier, and like whatever. So now we have this like completely unstyled looking rendered web page. So what's the next step, Jeremy? What do we do?
Well, I really want them all in kind of like the style of the first two.
Yeah. Show everyone what I sent you.
Okay.
The one.
Well, this is incredibly important.
Quite disturbing. It's just a lot of her screaming.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good. That one makes sense. This one I don't know what's
happening. It's 2024 and we're still not getting the faces right? Like, what is this? 2023?
The hands are molding into other people's hands.
Have I gone back in time? You know.
And I think if they're on a website and they're very small because it was 1997, so they will be small and grainy, then it's like that's basically the vibe that we want to get across. Maybe I should make more.
Next step. So I'm gonna grab. So I'm. The clock is ticking here because it says I have 3 messages remaining until 2 p.m. So I have to do all of this in 3 messages. This is actually just a limitation that applies to plebeians, but we are not, Georgia. We are developers. So we shall go to the the developer access point. But we will use this to get around the rate limit. So we're gonna come here and grab the code.
Okay.
And put it in. I feel like the amount of sequels that exist is like proof that we need AI generated movies. It's like if movie studios are not even going to make original content anyway, like what is the point?
Yeah, just like give it up and make AI generated movies. Come on. Because AI can do that. We're already at that point. Movies don't need to be more than 8 seconds long. If TikTok has taught us anything.
Yeah. Let's grab the code and check it out.
Luddites and purists alike will continue to use CodePen.
Yeah, all the Luddites on
you know those Luddites who like to code? Whoa.
Oh wow, this is quite
Papyrus, sorry. Sorry about my British accent.
Wow, these are great.
Wow, oh yeah.
Wow, the API is so much better than the plebeian version.
It's upgraded us from as if to totally righteous. Oh,
Whoa, these are
this is sick.
great.
This is sick. Except for the rounded
What?
corners, but this is sick.
Oh, you don't want rounded corners?
No, they didn't have border radius back then.
Whoa.
I don't know, maybe they did. What do I know?
That's a good question. What do you know? Where did you send me the movie posters?
Okay, incoming, my friend.
All right.
It's cool, right?
The
Except
boots,
for
great. Yeah.
fucked up legs, but yeah, it's cool.
Whoa.
That's actually sick. I like how it's just arms and guns, like instead of legs.
Yeah.
And her face is that's so correct. Like that's
Yeah,
exactly,
this is great.
yeah.
I mean, if it was just like this part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Ah.
No.
And that one's really bad. Not usable.
Chula.
Choles, Coolus, Rescule.
Coolest. Raculi.
So we've got some stuff to work with.
This is going really well, Georgia. We're really good at this. So, okay,
It's like
there's
totally
a
awesome.
problem.
Okay, what's the problem?
It's like totally awesome.
Mm.
There's an issue here, and the issue is that our friends cannot access this webpage. The code is only in CodePen. The easiest way to deploy JavaScript websites is something called Vercel. If you write your website, your web app,
Yeah.
in next.js, which is a JavaScript framework, then all you do is you basically press a button and voila, it deploys on Vercel. What's
Excellent.
actually probably 1,000 buttons.
I'm ready to hit 1,000 buttons with you.
I think I would guess in a year, you'll be able to actually just deploy from AI generators. But today it takes a bit of time. So first what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, write all of necessary code for every single file needed.
Even if you are completely bedeviled with unknown unknowns, you can still be like, simply give me all the necessary files, and it will do it.
Yes, with a small caveat, which is that I find that AI generators basically kind of 10x whatever knowledge I have. So when I knew zero JavaScript, I was doing things like this and wasn't able to actually make it happen because there's just very tiny tweaks or little things that go wrong that you aren't able to get it to correct. Once I knew a tiny bit of JavaScript, I was able to move a lot further and faster than I would have been able to by just learning it manually.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's quite at the point where you can do this with zero knowledge, but you can do it with very little knowledge. Okay, so where we're at is that I asked it for some instructions on setting up our next.js project and deploying it to Vercel. So I think this is an example of where the gap in knowledge would get you. I think if you asked it, how do I deploy this? Or you'd say how do I make this into a website that I can access? I don't think that you could get from there to having your website up very easily. No.
You don't want to use TypeScript? Come on, bro.
Oh, can I also get a stars GIF? GIF, like a GIF of for the background.
Yeah, I can. I'm just gonna have to find one of those because when I asked ChatGPT to make me a GIF, I don't think it can do it.
Yeah.
I can do that though. Animated.
Wow. There's still something that we can do that the AI can't.
I know.
Thank goodness. Yeah. We win. I think we're gonna end up with more consistent styling than I'd originally wanted. So some of our TikTokers we might lose them as a result of that.
Can't lose what you never had, Jeremy.
So obviously, when you're making code with AI, you should ideally review the code, even if you don't understand all of what's happening in it. You should do your best to go through, try and understand what it's doing, make sure there's no like big issues. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to YOLO it and
We're
put exactly what the AI told us to do.
Frantic and irresponsible.
Yeah. It should look basically how we want it to look without the images.
Without what images? Oh, as in
these images, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. I've sent you a few that you can now use, but yes.
Great. And so
We're pretty much there. We're pretty much there.
We're pretty much there. So I'm just going to be real random in terms of what these images are. And then we want the stars GIF.
Look at it in all its glory. A MySpace classic.
So beautiful. We're going to create a GitHub repo.
Wow, GitHub.
GitHub.
Repo.
Clueless explosion. Cool. So now we have our code on GitHub. And so we're going to go to
That was so easy.
Vercel.com. And we're
And
going to add a new project. And then when we search for it, we're going to see that it's not here. So we're going to have to come and configure the app. All right.
Hey!
Confetti! Hey! Let's see what happens. Hey, and here's our website.
Oh my god, it works! Explosion count.
It works. Oh my god.
Images that will be there one day.
Yay! We will see the images.
Wearing white after Labor Day.
Well, Georgia, just to recap, we started with some beautiful inspiration in Websim.
Look at it.
Which basically instantly created a website that was as good as and better than what we ultimately made.
No, Jeremy, no.
No, it was it had this terrible fading gradient. It was completely unacceptable. Yeah.
Really unrealistic for the 90s. They didn't know what gradients were back then. Our eyes could not perceive gradients.
We went over to Claude and we prototyped using the Artifacts setting. Feature.
Enter Comic Sans. Welcome.
Comic Sans enters the chat. And then we were running out of messages as normal consumer AI dweebs. And so we went over to the powerful developer interface for increased tokens.
Infinite context window. Infinite everything.
And we changed the code to work on Vercel using Next.js. In the process, we did lose some of our really amazing styling from
the original code that it spat out. Here are some of them. Let's see.
This is what we could have had. This one is
Look at
great.
That yellow. That yellow really makes it pop. I can barely read it.
And the cursive?
Yeah. No, that's cursive. You thought we could see cursive before. It's slanty, it's wavy.
That's what you thought. It's so beautiful. Okay.
And that button just changes color at will. Look at it.
Right. Doesn't even mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
And then we popped it into a GitHub repository, which I'll show you here, but it is private.
It is not open source. Sorry, this is proprietary.
This is proprietary IP. And then Vercel basically just magically put all of it up here.
Yay!
And we added the correct trademark for Paramount Pictures. and we have this eye-wateringly beautiful Clueless sequel
Hot pink.
website.
Look at that title.
You're welcome.
Pulsate. No, you're welcome.
We're the champions of imagination.